Let's go! Arizona Cardinals fans, I'm going to break down my first video of Kyler Murray. Is he putting together an MVP campaign? Let's actually start this breakdown off with the right tackle. You'll see that the DT gets a really good jump. Man, this is excellent stuff. This is a neutral zone infraction, but they're never going to call that. And this becomes a more difficult block because the right guard is pulling around. So this right tackle, to get this good of a piece right here, is really good form and athleticism. Get the play action fake, and I actually really like this route concept. Deep over for Marvin Harrison, run behind a vertical out of 13 personnel. Right? That's really, really, really good stuff. Vertical here. Run the deep over behind it. There we go. I'm a little too lazy to pull up the all-22 of it. It is a thing of beauty, though. What a throw right here from Kyler. And look at all of that space for Marvelous Marv to work with. Or should I say in Gus Johnson form, Maserati Marv. And this is what I'm talking about, okay? Fake pitch to Greg Dortch. You have to absolutely respect his speed, and then you act like you're running basically the same thing. So deep over, vertical here, but you're actually running a screen to the backside, and this ends up being an absolutely massive gain. You could go back to when I did my Washington Commanders Cardinals preview earlier this season. I shared how much I really like this team. Yeah, they are very flawed. Yeah, they had a bunch of close results go their way, that offense, of course, being one of them. But, man, this team's got pieces, and they're good enough to make some noise here in the NFC West, winning 4 straight games. This is basically the story of this game. The pass protection was really good, right? No pressure really at all. There is some up the middle, but guess what? Kyler's playing quick. He gets an open Marvin Harrison right over the middle, and that is an absolutely massive gain on 2nd and 7. Get to the 2nd and 8. I love weird formational diversity, and you rarely see this. Cardinals are in 20 personnel, 2 tight ends, no running backs, 3 wide receivers, and they're actually running 4 verts. So vertical here, vertical here, vertical here, vertical here. And honestly, at the snap, this is not the best look for this. You have to absolutely throw with a lot of anticipation and look off that safety right here on the hash. That is really, really, really good stuff there from Kyler Murray. He made that look a lot easier than it actually was. And then we get to here, you've been running the football nonstop with Connor, and guess what? Boot, they're not even ready for it. Backside contained. You have to keep an eye out for Kyler Murray in that spot. And guess what? He is able to walk into the end zone to make this a double-digit lead. You love to see it. So, ironically, Kurt Warner had a tweet about this play mesh, okay? This is a little bit more of a pick than just a mesh. Normally, this receiver is still trying to run across. They're trying to get a little pick right here for McBride, and guess what? They get it. It's just Sauce Gardner was the guy guarding McBride, and McBride's never going to win a foot race versus Sauce Gardner, so you're forced to punt. So the Cardinals did a really good job throwing out of these 2 tight end sets, right? If you bring an extra tight end in, that brings another safety into the box, and it makes it more advantageous to throw. And sometimes you can't just throw to your receiving tight end. You got to throw to the other guy as well. They have McBride covered, but because there's another over behind it, you're able to hit 84 over the middle. Really, really, really good stuff. And Higgins is able to keep his footing up until a point. Yeah, now we get to some really poor quarterbacking from Kyler Murray. And it's important to note that not all sacks are on the offensive line, okay? Kyler's had some protection issues over his career. Now, once again, I'm not as well-versed as some other NFL film guys or whatever, but I have seen some things quite like this. You're sliding the entire offensive line to the right, and they're bringing not 1 but 2 blitzers from the backside. So if you're Kyler Murray and you know your personal protector is actually going out on a route, you have to know that your backside is hot, right? And And, yeah, not one but two guys that could have delivered this blindside hit. So if you're going to throw this, you got to throw it. You can't think about it, and it sets himself up for a big one right there, and that is entirely on him. Your franchise quarterback should never willingly take a hit where your helmet is shot all the way to Scottsdale, okay? You do not want that to happen. All right, you want to know why Trey McBride is one of the best tight ends in the NFL? It's because of this. You run the deep over here from Trey McBride, and it works. It works. It's just a really good pocket right here. Hassan Reddick in a phone booth, and Kyler makes this throw on the deep over to McBride. Bang! Right on the money for a first down. And then we get to one of the best red zone plays in football, the slot fade, okay? So you start off here with the running back out here. It looks like he is being defended by a safety. And then we get to the slot fade touchdown. This is an absolute work of art from Kyler Murray. Once he sees that this corner is sitting right here, he knows he has his back corner of the end zone to work with. And you got to throw a really soft ball at roughly a 45-degree angle. And look at that ball location. Bang! Right on the money. And Maserati Marv gets a tutty. All right, 2-minute drill. You're down to 36 seconds. You only have one timeout left. This is a really good release right here from Michael Wilson. And they're switching up. They're running a little whip with Marvin Harrison. And look, Michael Wilson's able to win at the catch point, jumps, makes a really nice grab, and is able to fall forward for a first down. And not only that, he's able to run out of bounds to preserve some clock. Arizona's 12 personnel is just so filthy with the way Higgins has been playing. You're running a zone read here. Let that defensive end crash down. And then Kyler Murray with the pull. Higgins is able to get a nice block here on a DB. And then Marv gets a better block right here. Okay? Honestly, this is part of it. You act like you're running towards receiver, and then you go block the safety. Or no, actually, I think he was just supposed to block here. He misses, and either way, Kyler, you just want him to slide down after the first. All right, so we get a first in West Augusta here. And one of my favorite things when it's a long distance to pick up yardage, run a screen, right? Play action fake. Allow these aggressive defensive linemen to go upfield, and that is exactly what you want to see. And you get a very talented player in Trey Benson, the football into space. The key block is that first block on the backer that's reading the screen, and you get it. Dortch gets a semi-decent block down here as well. Semi-decent is being generous, but Reed had an absolutely terrible day, so it's no big deal. And Benson is able to gain all these extra yards. Really good stuff. Now, you see the pass to rush yard discrepancy. It looks pretty big, but many people consider the screen game to be a big part of the rushing attack. And the funny thing about this, there is a huge misnomer that play action needs a good running game for it to work. It's not true, right? You could still sell play action if you run a lot of 12 personnel, which the Cardinals did in this game, and if you just do it, right? Especially if you have a back like James Conner who can give you something. So the Cardinals all game, we've seen them do this fake little counter action with the puller, and we've seen them hit deep overs, verticals, all that stuff. And this time, you're actually running a little tight end leak across the formation. Now notice, you only have 67 yards rushing to 230. It still draws all these backers in, okay? And then guess what? You can see the leaking tight end. Even though there is so much pressure here, Kyler can throw a moon ball and see that a guy is wide open, and that guy just happens to be, to me, the best young tight end in the NFL, and Trey McBride. Now, of course, you would prefer him to catch it clean and the throw be a little bit better, but it's still a nice explosive gain. Guess what? Instead of 12 personnel, you just bring a big body wide receiver on in here, and you just run the zone read stuff. I don't know why their ends kept crashing so hard on the running game. Now, the play before this, Connor had a rush right up the gut, and this is what makes Kyler really special. He's going to beat most safeties in a foot race. Higgins got a good block to get this DB down on the ground, and that's all she wrote. Sauce Gardner, not wanting that business, it's a tutty. So another really solid game for Kyler, and I'm about to share one mind-blowing stat. So of the 10, or should I say, of the 11 starting quarterbacks who have made 10 starts or more, right? There's some QBs who have had their bye weeks, some who haven't. So of the 11, Kyler Murray is actually 10th in total passing yards, but second overall in QBR. So even though Kyler Murray hasn't had these cartoonishly big games, he's been really efficient with the football. He, of course, gives you a lot with his legs. There's some rushing stats. I think he has about 300, 400 there. So, yeah, in terms of NFC quarterbacks, how many have been better than him outside of Jaden Daniels and maybe a few others? So, Kyler Murray freaking playing unbelievable football right now. And let me know down below if you believe the Arizona Cardinals are real contenders, okay? It is Power Hour NFL. Boom. Now, in order for that to happen, they need Budda Baker to stay healthy. Yes, so many more tackles than everybody else on this defense. But the defense needs to continue to play well if they are to make a run. And tonight, we are doing chicken. Let's go.